Hey pals, welcome to the channel. Today we'll update these info flows. Gonna talk about migration. We always keep an eye on trends, track what's happening in the USA and beyond, what's happening in neighboring countries, how it affects the overall migration situation. If y'all watching this video, y'all probably already got an idea about what it's gonna be about, the reason behind it, and the consequences it's gonna have. But for those who aren't in the know, let me tell you, there's a bit of a stir going on in Texas right now because there's a mighty big influx of illegal migration happening through the state, which is located on the southern border with Mexico, including folks who ain't Mexican citizens. The majority of them are not even citizens of Mexico. The majority of those who illegally cross the southern border through Texas are not citizens of Mexico. And this problem led to some small disturbances in this state. And now, probably the most popular topic of discussion is the state's secession from the US territory. Just to say, probably political reasons, motives and consequences, forecasts and so on, we don't give on this channel, we don't discuss it. We're discussing this from the perspective of how migration, both legal and illegal, will change, and how illegal migration specifically will impact obtaining immigration visas and our work, among other things. What can we say already? We'll make a small, short introductory video to maybe calm down those people who think that it will have a really bad impact on the immigration visas we work with, the ones you're applying for, but we need to reassure you right away that it won't affect legal immigration in any way. Why? Because for not the first year, the authorities of the United States and the authorities of Mexico have been working together to reduce this illegal immigration through the flow of the southern border, specifically through states like Texas. But for not the first year, they can't come to a decision. Throughout all these years, there have not been any radical changes to immigration legislation. There was a change at a certain point in time when Trump assumed power, and he terminated the PISU startup, but it was not at all connected to the influx of illegal migration. It was probably more linked to the fact that the United States did not require startups, and the attraction of new ideas to its territory, for obvious reasons, as they already have, Silicon Valley, which serves as a vast incubator, a hub for startups that nurtures them constantly, so there is no need for external flows, logically speaking. However, at present, there are no planned changes to immigration, except for an anticipated rise in tariffs. Moreover, as many people are discussing in the near future, whether there will be any changes in connection with the fact that Trump will come to power again. If this happens, then we are keeping this situation under control, analyzing it. And now it becomes obvious that there won't be any critical changes Trump will make in legal immigration. Certainly when Trump begins addressing illegal immigration, an issue he frequently discussed during his pre-election campaign, it is conceivable that the volume of legal migration might even rise, as there is currently a substantial number of undocumented immigrants in the United States who are engaged in diverse sectors of the economy. If the deportation process against these individuals commences, it is important to note that it will not be a swift procedure. Additionally, if such deportations do occur, the affected sector of the economy will require replacement workers. Certainly a large number of them undoubtedly were employed in service sectors perhaps, but nevertheless the influx of authorized immigration, it is likely to further rise because currently, to put it this way, work visas and employment-based green cards, they are subject to quotas. They earn $140,000 monthly, a mere fraction of the annual total. It's an incredibly small amount actually, considering the type of visa, and perhaps to help combat illegal migration and the departure of migrant workers, they could raise the quota. The first. The second thing, generally very good, is that now they are considering a bill, as far as I know it is already in effect, about the fact that border services on the territory of the southern borders now have the full right to turn away people seeking political asylum without explaining the reason. In the past, when the system was in place, border services couldn't refuse if you had already submitted your documents to them. Now, if a border guard takes your documents, he has the power to deny you entry based on his perception that you lack valid reasons to enter the USA or that your reasons are sufficiently compelling. What is going to happen in the long run? If the number of visas increases and if the amount of illegal migration decreases, then the amount of legal migration will constantly be on the rise. You know what I am saying? What's possible? Maybe, as we already discussed, an increase in quotas is possible, maybe a small increase in the entry threshold for these visas. Currently, there is no high entry threshold for B1 and B2 visas. Moreover, specialists applying for these visas have genuine opportunities to successfully pass them on their initial attempt. To successfully obtain immigration visas on the first attempt is likely a result of sheer luck, as in numerous immigration categories, such as in Europe, if one manages to pass on the initial try, it is considered an exceptional circumstance. In the EB categories, according to US legislation, there are clear requirements, so it's clear how to submit applications. So, probably, right now the best option is to apply, because starting from February 26th, there is a planned increase in the fee amount, including the premium consideration, which will now cost not 2.5 but 2.8. And in the future, if Trump comes and the legal migration flow increases, then it makes sense to increase the influx for IB1 and IB2 visas, because right now it's a pretty realistic way. In the future, maybe they'll find a way to control all of this, including on US territory. What observations can you make from the interior, from the perspective of our work and the tasks we undertake on a daily basis? Back in the day, if you, let's say, file a case from the territory of Texas, then all cases are handled by the Texas state, the state of Texas. If you're filing cases from Massachusetts and, let's say, Missouri, and from other eastern or central states, then all cases go to Texas and are processed by their Texas Promotion Center. They are known for being quite fast and quite efficient. We receive highly productive feedback from them. Last follow-up requests from Texas were logical and detailed about what they need. In other words, what do you want us to send in the follow-up? Now, what changes do we observe? All the cases that used to be sent to Texas, well, most of them, they now go to Chicago, located in the state of Illinois. For some unknown reason we are unaware of, once again, in some way connected to the unrest and turmoil on the southern border, they do not specify for us. Perhaps it is true. At the Chicago Processing Center, what can be observed is a completely disrespectful and unjustified delay in processing cases, which is clearly visible and raises serious concerns. Cases that come in and there is no movement on them for a month, maybe even a month and a half, and there are no answers. Usually, if they don't accept your case for some reason, they'll send your case back to you by mail within 2-3 days. We currently have some cases that are waiting for their turn, so right now we're quickly changing the center that will handle our cases, changing the sending address, and accordingly we'll be sending the cases from a different address so that they go to a different, more productive processing center. Here is how it is currently affecting us at this very moment. So, if you are still contemplating immigration, thinking about moving, now is likely the optimal time to make a decision so you do not get hit with an additional fee, and so that any forthcoming increments in immigration thresholds or any alterations in immigration policies do not have an impact on you and your plans for the future. While there's still time to make it, come in for a consultation and we'll discuss your specific situation and get you filed. That's all for me. Thanks and have a good day.